Hello and welcome to Post, the channel where we discuss all things hockey and all teams. Whoa. You didn't watch this game live, but I did, and I loved it.
I bet you did.
Even as regardless of who you're cheering for, you have to admit that last 10 minutes, that last 10 minutes of the third period and the overtime was some of the best hockey that I've ever seen in my life, regardless of teams.
I tweeted the last 30 minutes of that game, which is almost all of the overtime and the last half of the third period, was the most exciting hockey I've seen in decades.
Yeah.
And I've seen some very exciting hockey in my time.
That was old.
Unbelievable. Because I'm old. But that was unbelievable.
It was crazy.
Unbelievable.
We'll probably not see something like that again.
I hope not.
Not to that specific degree of what happened. And obviously, we're going to talk about what happened. Maybe we should just talk about that first.
Do it.
Just get it out of the way. What did you think of that call? Because when I asked if you watched the game earlier today, you said, "I have opinions."
I have opinions.
That's all you said. So.
I tweeted my main opinion this morning. What I did was, because you and I, we record the games.
Right.
You watched it live. Go ahead.
Who are you cheering for in the series?
I was cheering for Las Vegas.
I'm cheering for San Jose. If you're
That's
new,
right.
Okay, continue.
So I watched it. I got up early this morning. I got up at 4:30 this morning, which is only maybe 3 minutes after the game ended. I don't know. And I watched it almost live in the sense that I didn't skip through it or fast forward. I watched the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
I watched every minute of the game, and I loved it.
Heck
I
yeah.
loved it even before the incident. But I do have opinions. I have strong opinions, and I will share them on this show, on this broadcast.
Do it now.
Do it. I could be persuaded that Eakin deserved a 2-minute penalty for that cross-check.
So your overall opinion is that it should not have been a 5-minute
Absolutely.
game.
Absolutely should not have been a 5-minute major. Should not have been a 5-minute major. Should never have been a 5-minute major. Eakin cross-checks Pavelski, which is what happens after every face-off in the NHL. There's a scuffle, and the puck goes one place, but then the two centers are trying to get to their next position after the face-off. They have a place to go. And the other center's job is to prevent them from getting to that place.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So there's a collision of players, and there's usually some shoving of some kind, get out of my way shoving. And that's really what was happening there. Eakin gave him the business a little bit with a cross-check. Maybe if that was a scoreless game with 8 minutes to go in the third, do you think they'd call that?
Nope. I think there's no call there.
No way. So anyway, who was it, Marchessault or someone else?
Stastny, I think.
Stastny, that's right. So Stastny ends up, it's more of an accidental collision. Because,
to me, 100% accidental.
Yeah, because Eakin cross-checks Pavelski, he goes into Stastny's path, and when Stastny hits him unavoidably, he's already off balance, and he falls very awkwardly.
Yeah.
And neither referee put their arm up at that moment.
I know.
Neither.
I actually rewound the game and watched it again to see if they did, and they didn't.
They didn't.
I don't, and it's only because Pavelski was injured down on the ice.
And making a puddle
Yeah.
about this big around. And he was one of the players who came up to him. I think it might have been Burns later on, said he was maybe having a seizure of some kind. Like he was, he was out. And the referees, I think, got spooked.
I think so too. Honestly, I do.
Yeah. Now, there is a provision for a linesman who witnesses an infraction that the referee didn't see to go over to the ref and say, I saw something you need to call, and explain it to him. And the referee is allowed to call a penalty. I don't know that didn't happen.
And we don't know that, we don't know if it did or didn't happen. I don't know if anyone knows at this point. It's likely been reviewed by the
a million times.
Reffing Association.
But here's what we do know. The ref, and I forget who the lead ref was that went over, Gerard Gallant wanted an explanation at the bench.
Yes.
And the referee told Gerard Gallant that Eakin cross-checked him in the face.
In the face, yeah.
And the replay clearly shows there was no cross-check to the face. It was at this level, and any injury to the head happened on impact with the ice.
Yeah.
After the other unfortunate accidental collision with Stastny. So he was not cross-checked in the face. And if the referee believed he was, then the referee was wrong.
Yes, I agree.
Therefore, the 5-minute major is wrong.
Yes, I agree.
However, I'm going to say all that, and I don't want to deconstruct the whole series and steal your thunder because it's your show. But
not my show.
In a 5-minute penalty, playing against a team that kills penalties successfully 80% of the time, you would expect 1 and possibly 2 goals to be scored in that 5 minutes. Because when that penalty was called, San Jose was not awarded 4 free goals. They went out there on the ice and got them.
That's true. And that's the difference. Like, obviously, that call was ridiculous. It should have never happened. Vegas should have never been put in that position. 2 minutes for cross-checking at the most.
And that's right.
That is my opinion.
First goal gets scored, guys back out on the 5-on-5, and now we get a 3-1 game with 7 minutes left.
Vegas still controls their destiny to a degree.
Yep.
You can't, like, all the Vegas fans, and I know it's a super emotional time and you're frustrated, and maybe this is the first time you've ever been through this because maybe you didn't like hockey before this or before last year or something like that. But listen, the refs make mistakes. This crap happens. It sucks, but it doesn't mean that you still can't win the game, especially when you got a 3-0 lead. Like, I'm sure there's been calls just as egregious where the score's been 0-0 or the score's the other way around or something. Like, it was just a perfect storm of what happened last night, and it's unfortunate that it happened, but you still can't blame the refs for losing the game when you give up 4 goals in 4 minutes, and you get Marc-Andre Fleury in net, by the way, who I don't blame, although maybe he should take some of the blame, but I don't personally blame him.
I do not.
You can't let in 4 goals in 4 minutes, even on a while killing a penalty. You just can't do it. You have to be better than that, especially in the playoffs. And what I think is the biggest mistake is after goal 2. I love Gerard Gallant. He is from the province that I live in. I could drive to his house in 45 minutes.
But he needed to do something.
He needed to call a timeout.
He didn't do.
He needed to call a timeout after the second goal,
or even after the first.
Or
because it happened so fast.
But no, I don't think so. 6 seconds. I don't think that should have a timeout after 6 seconds in a power play should have been called.
I might.
To me, after that second goal, it was a no-brainer. I can't believe he didn't call a timeout, and it just. I think to me that was a defining moment, not as big as the defining moment as the penalty, but that he didn't call a timeout when everyone thought he should have was a pretty defining moment for me, and it's tough as a Vegas fan to have that happen, but they do get some justice because they do score and tie the game, send it to overtime, and then it's a new game.
It's a new game, and they reclaim the ability to decide that game.
Exactly.
They get the destiny back.
It sucks.
It does, because they already did all that work.
Yes, it sucks that it's a new game when you go to OT and you know what happened previous to overtime, but you can't, like, it's a new game, like it's 0-0. You have destiny in your hands, and you were ahead 3-1 in the series. So this is the third chance that you've had to eliminate the team, and you didn't. So, like, I do feel bad for Vegas. I feel terrible for the fans, and that specific play happened. But it's not like they didn't have chances to control their own destiny. They had 3 very big chances.
They really did. And they had big chances in overtime to score that goal.
Yes, they did.
They weren't as good a team in the overtime period as they were in the rest of the game, frankly. Maybe they were a little tired. Maybe they were a little unnerved by it all.
I thought San Jose dominated that overtime for the most part.
But Vegas still got some rushes down into San Jose
and they
zone,
almost scored.
And they got some good shots on Jones. And here's another thing I like about how it ended. It was a clean scoring play. It wasn't a reviewable thing or a garbagey goal or people pushing the goalie or the net halfway off. Goudreau beat the defense, cut in front of the net, took position, outweighted Fleury, who's the poke check master, and slipped it in beside him. It was a beautiful goal.
Thank God that it was a clean goal.
Oh, God.
Because can you imagine if it was a controversial goal, ended up siding with San Jose, Twitter, #Hockey Twitter would be going ham right now. So anyways, I was obviously happy. I'm cheering for San Jose. I really like Vegas as well, so it was hard to cheer against Vegas, but I was definitely happy last night. It was a pretty monumentous event for a Sharks fan. So it was probably their best game as a franchise in history. Like, not best game, but I mean, like, most defining game as a franchise in history, in my opinion. So
it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. And the emotion that they went through in that game, the comeback, would have been very I'm happy for them, but it would have been hard on their psyche to have to do that and realize maybe when it's all over that we just won this game. But for that penalty, we wouldn't be sitting here cracking the bottle open, waiting for Colorado.
And they knew it. They knew it was going to come before it came because they said, "Let's do it for Pavs." Like, he's gone. He's not coming back. Let's do it for Pavs.
Well, did you hear what I think it was Thornton said?
Yeah.
You know,
that's pretty emotional.
You're going to get 3 goals, and you're going to get them right now. 3 goals. And Logan Couture said, "So we did. We actually got 4."
Yeah. Logan Couture got the first goal. He skated back towards the bench. He said, "That's one, boys."
Yeah.
And then boom, boom, boom.
See, I think that's why I would have called the timeout then, because if they get the second goal and it's now 3-2, you're in their heads and they're spooked. If it's only 10 seconds into the 5-minute penalty and they get a goal and it's still 3-1, you've still got a 2-goal cushion, you can talk to your guys and say, look, they're going to pull the goalie maybe with 4 minutes to go here. They're going to try to get 2, so let's get ready.
No. They're already rested because there was a penalty. There was all that getting him off the ice, and then they got the face-off there, and 6 seconds later they scored. They've only had 6 seconds of active physical play. They're not tired. Everyone is...
It's not about the physical tiredness, though.
No, but
it's about the mental preparation.
But it's the risk of holding on to the timeout for after the second goal, hypothetically, risking that they're going to score again, and then they're going to be more tired after the second goal.
But he didn't use it then either anyway, did he?
No, but that's the problem. Anyway.
All right.
Peter DeBoer made a very smart decision in a way, I thought. Late in the overtime, he sent out Goudreau, who had not played a shift in that overtime until 5 minutes to go, I believe.
That's right. The first 15 minutes of that period, he was riding the pine.
Yeah. So he gave him a shift. He had a ton. He was everywhere on the ice that first shift, and Peter DeBoer noticed that, and he's like, okay, this kid's got fresh legs. I'm going to send him back out there. His next shift, guess who scored the goal? So obviously he was sitting that player because he was using his more mature players and stuff, but I would like to think that he was holding on to some fresh legs on
purpose.
It
was all calculated ahead of time. Yeah, no, it wasn't. He had a shorter bench. He needed what he thought were his best guys, and they were getting gassed. And, okay, well, now because of that, you've got some rested guys, and what the heck? Let's throw them out there.
Yeah, I mean, Brendan Dillon was – I think he sat for all of the overtime period, and I think the majority of the third maybe. He's a -6 in the series. He's the worst on the team. I'm not surprised Brendan Dillon was sad. I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
LeBanc was absolutely unreal in that game.
He got assist on 4, all 4 of those goals in the third period.
He got points on all 4 goals.
Yeah, I think it's the first time ever that one player has gotten 4 points in one period in a Game 7, ever.
Wow.
I think I read that somewhere.
That must be a Gord Miller stat, is it?
Oh, speaking of that.
Yeah, I know. But anyways, very exciting hockey.
Yeah.
I hope Pavelski's okay.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's come out yet in the news what happened to him
specifically
specifically
it has yet.
Or whatever, but hopefully he's okay. And I can't imagine if he was out for the rest of the playoffs because that's a huge blow to the San Jose Sharks. But anyways, that's all I have to say for Game 7. Is it okay if we transition into general series talk?
Go for it.
All right. Martin Jones is the definition of inconsistent, in my opinion. I don't think I've ever seen inconsistency like Martin Jones. There were games where, honestly, if they had a beach ball, and people use that reference a lot to make for memes and stuff about goalies, but honestly, he was so bad that if you literally had a beach ball on the ice, I am confident that you could have scored on Martin Jones. However, there were games where he was a complete wall.
If you could be a sports psychologist and figure out where that switch is,
billions.
Because it's the difference between suckage and a king.
Yeah,
it really is. I don't. It's hard to believe that's the same person.
It is.
Can perform so well and then 2 days later perform so poorly.
It's crazy.
And then so well again 3 days later. It's. Yeah. I don't get it.
I don't get it either, and I don't like it. As a fan of the Sharks, I don't like it.
It's a little scary
because I don't know what Jones I'm going to get. Right. So
that's right.
It is frustrating.
That's right.
I am 100% in the opinion that Erik Karlsson is the worst defensive player that I've ever seen in my life.
He's certainly the worst defensive defenseman.
Every single time Vegas scored, it seemed like Erik Karlsson was on the ice. That's not true. He was off the ice for some of their goals, but I would say 75% or more he was on the ice, and that's a fact. Like that, go look it up. He was on the ice for 16 to 21 goals prior to Game 7. So
if Colorado can find a way to neutralize his offensive skill and just
that's
let
the
him be
thing.
himself on his defensive skill, that's in the bag. It's in the bag.
Vegas was like, I was watching Vegas, and when Erik Karlsson was on the ice, Vegas perked up, and they were like most of Vegas's like serious push and intensity during that overtime was when Erik Karlsson was on the ice. They know that he sucks defensively. I'm not sure if he's injured or what. I know he had the groin issue or something. I don't know what's going on, but he's way better of a hockey player than that. But this year, and specifically in this series, Erik Karlsson is the worst defensive player I've ever seen in my life.
And yet he's going to round 2
Yep.
by the dint of good luck and maybe that call.
Yep.
But Colorado, they've had, I don't know, several days now to scout both teams, anticipating which of them might win. So they've got them scouted. I'm sure they know what they're going to plan to do. Now, every strategy, every tactic lasts until first contact with the enemy, and then you have to change it because it's not what you expect it's going to be. So we understand that Colorado probably has a plan, and the plan may fail at first, but they'll pivot to a different plan. And every single part of Colorado's planning, I think, will be to find ways to take advantage of those liabilities in Erik Karlsson.
Yep.
He is an offensive powerhouse on the power play.
He's the reason the overtime goal happened.
Yeah.
And that pisses me off.
So he's got an upside, a big upside on offense, and he's a huge downside on defense. And the problem is you can't take him off the ice halfway through someone else's rush.
Yeah.
So you're stuck with that one way or the other. And it's like playing Russian roulette.
It is.
Or in this case, Swedish roulette.
Swedish roulette, yeah.
You spin the chamber, and like it could go really well or it could go really badly.
Who are my favorite 2 players on San Jose? Little trivia for you. You got this.
LeBanc,
That's one.
Couture.
Heck no. Timo Meier, man.
Oh, Meier, yeah.
So they used to play together on a line.
Yeah,
and they're
that's
split up
right.
this year a little bit.
That's right.
But when Pavelski got injured in the game, it gave the opportunity for LeBanc and Meier to come back together again and play together, specifically on the power play. Man, I loved seeing them back together. It was awesome. Super pumped about that. I just had to mention it. Throughout the entire series, I thought Kane was a liability. He did a lot of important offensive things, like last game specifically, Game 7. There was a part in the overtime where he got the puck, he went around the net, and then he went around the net again.
I saw that. That
was awesome.
It was really well done. I thought he really grew a lot in that game.
Yeah, the last
the
2
game
games
went on.
specifically, I felt he played so much better than the first 5. He was so undisciplined in the first 5 games.
And he was letting Reeves get to him.
Yeah.
Letting Reeves get in his head. And
100%.
I think whether someone talked to him or he just made his mind up that he was going to be a hockey player first and a goon or a goony guy the second, that's when the things turned for him. However, whatever caused that to be a change, it was really a good change for the better because he's got crazy skills.
Absolutely.
And to watch him dominate on the cycle like that, a one-man cycle, was great.
Someone else who did that was, not to that degree, but Nyquist. I noticed he's such a high-energy player this series, specifically in that last game. And his puck control in the offensive zone was pretty impressive. He killed a lot of time off the clock there, even specifically when San Jose was in need of a line change. He realized it, and then he held onto the puck and dingle-dangled it around and stuff, and allowed his team to make a line change. So that was awesome. I really like the high energy from Nyquist.
# dingle dangle.
# dingle dangle. The depth pressure from San Jose, Sorensen, Meier, LeBanc, Nyquist, Kane, Hertl, like not even including Couture or Pavelski or Thornton. Like San Jose's just super deep. Like I don't like to talk up the teams that I cheer for because I'm usually overcritical of the teams I cheer for, but I don't think there's any question that San Jose is pretty deep offensively. And they used to be deep defensively. What happened to that? I don't know. But anyway, I think Hertl was the best San Jose player overall. If you take the entire series globally, I think Hertl was the best San Jose player. I think he was the most consistent. He was a plus player. He had a ton of opportunities. He scored goals. He scored important goals, and he always looked pretty high energy. He never looked defeated. So definitely a shout out to Hertl. The frustrating part about San Jose is the giveaways. it's not just Carlson. It's Brent Burns. It's Thornton. There's no one safe on San Jose. The giveaways are pretty bad and pretty apparent. So I really fear that Colorado, someone like McKinnon, is just going to eat that up.
Yeah.
It's just going to eat it up and have dinner. The last thing I want to say about San Jose is I think the most underrated series-defining moment, and that's when San Jose got back Vlasic. He came back, and I feel like the defense completely changed, and just the feel of San Jose completely changed. I think a huge amount of praise should be with Vlasic. He's been with the team, I think, as long as Pavelski. He's been there for a long time, and he was such a crucial part of the San Jose lineup. And I don't think enough credit went to him specifically in the last 2 games. So I wanted to mention that. Do you have anything else to say about San Jose?
Well, I do want to talk about their immediate future, but not about San Jose in the series. I think they waited out Vegas. They survived being down 3-1, which is a big achievement in itself. Being down 3-0 is the best, but being down 3-1, that's really, really hard to come out of that grave.
And they've never done that before as a franchise.
Yeah, and a lot of teams never get to do it. So I think regardless of who they end up playing in the next 2 rounds, or maybe 3, if they go that far, I think if San Jose gets into the finals, and even if they win the finals, I think they'll look back at this series as maybe their toughest of the playoffs.
I agree, yeah. If you think about what Washington did last year to Columbus, they were down 2-0 early in that series, and then they had to go through some adversity, grew as a group. Look what happened.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that San Jose had the same experience here, and they grow as a group and use that emotion to go deep in the playoffs. That's the hope. But
right on.
Yeah. All right. So Vegas, I really thought that Fleury was probably their best player.
He was outstanding. He really, really was.
Yes, he let in some soft goals. It's unfortunate, but generally throughout the entire series, he was unreal. If you had an average goalie in net, I really think this game could have been over, or this series could have been over in 5 games, 4 or 5 games.
Yeah.
Like San Jose's just too offensively gifted. Like the saves that he was making, time and time again. I still don't understand half the saves.
His side-to-side movement, he can just throw that leg out. He's unreal. And really, when you think of it, if you went to the Golden Knights and said, how about we put you in Game 7, we give you a goalie that will bring you in a shutout all the way to halfway through the 3rd period in a Game 7, would you take that? They'd say, hell yeah, we'd take that.
Hell yeah, absolutely.
And that's what they got.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out, but that's what they got.
Yeah, you mentioned just a couple of seconds ago, his lateral movement is fantastic. And the poke check.
Oh,
he loves the poke check. Apparently he yells poke check when he poke checks.
You were telling me that. I think that's hilarious. I hope it's true.
I hope it's true, too. That would be amazing.
Poke check. I love it.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Riley Smith, snake bitten, had a ton of chances. He had 26 shots. He got 1 goal. His shooting percentage is 3.8%.
Ooh.
Yeah, like he hit the post probably 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. They should give a stat for that. Come on.
I don't know.
They should count that.
I think there should be a post stat.
If you hit the post or hit the crossbar, you've really beaten the goalie. You should get something for that.
You should call it the post-to-post stat.
Ooh.
Anyway.
Hashtag.
I thought William Karlsson, who is my favorite player on the Golden Knights, was a bit underwhelming. He wasn't the same Erik Karlsson, or not Erik Karlsson. Well, there's too many Karlssons in this damn series.
Way too many. It's like Smith. Come on, Sweets. Get some other players over here. Spread it out a bit.
William Karlsson, I felt like he was so much better last year. And I don't know if maybe he was just overshadowed this year by Stone and Pacioretty and Stastny and whatever. And that's fine. But I didn't feel like he was the leader. I felt last year like he was the leader. And I didn't get that vibe this year. And I was a bit disappointed. So, not that was a super series defining thing or anything like that, but Stone, Pacioretty, Stastny,
unreal.
Possibly the best line in the playoffs. Right up there, I would say, with Radulov, Ben, and Seguin. Or yeah,
you say Radulov, Banana, and Seguin?
I don't know. I almost said Sen instead of Ben. Anyway, yeah, that line was awesome. Mark Stone. He's so good on the ice. I'm not just talking about offensively, like defensively. He's such a good two-way forward. He's trustworthy. He's smart. is such a smart pickup by the Golden Knights. He's going to be their best player for probably the next decade.
He was fantastic. And Pacioretty's been such a good fit with him.
He has, yeah.
A great fit. And they produced right up into deep into Game 7. They got them that 3-0 lead. So they did all they needed to do, or thought they did. They got their job done.
I think it was Game 4. Was that the one they scored all the goals?
I don't know.
That was huge. And now not huge for the series, but huge for the line in general, because they're going to be playing together for years to come.
Yeah.
So that was an important development game it's an important development series for them, growing and moving forward. If you're a Knights fan, obviously you're disappointed, but you have to look at some of the positives that came out of the series, and that line is a huge positive moving forward. That line is going to be just super scary in the next couple of years.
The first season the Golden Knights were in existence, they got all the way to the Stanley Cup final. They proved all the way through the playoffs, based on the 4-game sweep of LA and marching on through the playoffs, that they weren't a flash in the pan and they weren't a freak. But when the season was over, it's like waking up from a dream wondering if that really happened or not. Is that real? And in this series, despite the fact they only made it into the first round and didn't get out of the first round, they proved in that series, especially with how close they came, they proved to everybody that they are for real.
Absolutely.
They are a very, very good hockey club, and they will be for a long time. And it's not your traditional exhibition team that comes into the league and maybe has a lucky first season because they've really drafted well in the expansion. Vegas is an excellent hockey team, and they're getting better all the time. And this, whatever happened last night, and we're filming this the day after, or this morning, I guess, whatever happened when you have these losses, whether it's in the first round or the finals, you gain knowledge, you gain experience from that, you gain rage.
Rage, yeah.
You gain things that you can pull out of that bottle later and use it.
I agree.
And you have victims 2 or 3 years down the road in some subsequent series where you will reach back and draw on that rage or on that feeling of disgust, and you'll deliver that out onto the ice, and you'll win a game that you would not have won otherwise, but for that experience.
Yep, I completely agree.
Even when you lose, it's hard. If you're a Toronto fan, if you're a Golden Knights fan, if you're a Tampa Bay fan, it's hard to go out in the first round and lose. It's just devastating, especially when you had such high hopes. But there's always a silver lining around that cloud somewhere. And the right coach, the right teammates can take advantage of that.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they will next year, too. They'll do pretty good.
Yeah.
One thing I thought, speaking of coach, that Gallant said after, I can't remember what game it was, Game 5 maybe, Game 6, he said that the team was taking a lot of stupid penalties. And I really agreed. I thought throughout the entire series, Vegas just took some unnecessary penalties. And it's not that San Jose didn't. They definitely did. But Vegas got caught a couple times taking some stupid penalties. And you can't do that. Not against San Jose. Not against that offensive power. So I thought that was one of the biggest downfalls for the series, was the amount of stupid penalties that they took.
Yeah.
I thought Reeves was a pretty big factor in the series. But I think he got a little bit too caught up in the drama. Felt like it became more of a show for him than a game, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
He's a good player. He's a hard-hitting, impactful player. I don't know if he fits in with that group, because Vegas is a very fast team, and I just feel like Reeves is kind of lagging behind a little bit. He gets a little bit too caught up in those mind games and those head games and stuff. I wish he would just play hockey and hit hard normally and put in that effort. So I don't know.
Yeah. When you have a fast team like that, though, you need to have your Derek Engellands and your Ryan Reeveses.
You do.
To be there to keep the other team honest, right? But I don't think that takes away from what you said. What you said is correct. Do your hard hits. Play your skill game. You can be that person without being a quack.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I
really like Ryan Reeves. I like him a lot.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think he was just a little bit too concentrated on making other people look silly.
Yeah, yeah.
Versus concentrating more on making people look hurt in a legal check way, not
yeah, for sure.
bad way. I thought Nosek was their worst player. I don't know if you noticed him on the ice.
Not really. No.
Exactly.
Yeah. Proof point.
Stupid penalties. 14 penalty minutes for him. 0 points, -3, worst on the team.
Wow.
I thought he was just a no-go for me.
He was a no-go. Nosek was a no-go.
He got Glenn got a little sassy in one of those post-game before this
just before this game after
7.
Game 6, the clown reference.
Yeah. I thought that was really interesting because we haven't really seen that side of Glant.
We haven't.
But did you watch the post-game from after Game 7?
I did not.
He said some very nice things about San Jose, and he said some very nice things specifically about Pavelski, and wished him like a ton of good healing and whatever and stuff. He said like it's one of the first things he said, I believe, was about Pavelski, and he said some really positive things. So that shows a lot of class from Gerard Gallant. I'm very happy to see that, and I wasn't surprised by that because he's a super classy guy. So yeah, that's actually all I have to say about this series. Do you have anything else to add?
One thing, and I know we'll do previews and tee-ups for future series, but I was going to face a problem in the next round, having fallen very much in favor of Colorado in their Calgary series, and learning to really like that team and wanting to see them play longer and as long as they possibly can. I was almost worried that they'd be playing against Vegas, which is a team I'm really pulling for out west, and Colorado against Vegas. I like them both. I'm in this conundrum. I'm not now. It's Colorado against San Jose. It's easy for me to cheer for Colorado now, a lot easier, because I don't dislike San Jose. I just don't like San Jose.
That's fair.
They're just out there.
Okay.
They may very well win the Stanley Cup. They're an extremely skilled and very deep team, and they may win, and I'm fine if they do. That's cool. But to have them playing Colorado and me being more free to cheer for Colorado it's a bit liberating for me. So I don't know if Colorado can beat San Jose in the series, frankly, but I want to see them play. I want to see them try, and that's going to be entertaining. And then after that, if they get through Colorado, I like St. Louis and I like Dallas. So whoever comes out of that series to play San Jose, I'll be able to cheer for them against San Jose too. But probably if it gets down to the finals, if it's San Jose and Boston, let's say, hardcore San Jose. I'll be cheering hardcore San Jose.
Heck yeah.
If it's San Jose against the Islanders, not so much.
Oh, snap.
But if it's San Jose against Washington, of course, that game will be over tonight, so we'll know if it's Washington or Carolina. I'll be cheering for San Jose.
Heck yeah.
So the only way I might, in the finals, not be cheering for San Jose if they make it is if they're playing the Islanders. I can't see, or Columbus, let's say. If they're playing one of those two teams, I might prefer the East. But
you're kind of in the same situation I am.
Yeah, very much.
I cheer generally pretty hard for 5 teams. Montreal, number 1. San Jose, number 2. Dallas, number 3. Colorado, number 4. And St. Louis, number 5. 4 of the top 5 teams are playing against each other. I don't care who comes out of the West. I'm smitten. I'm super happy regardless of who comes out of the West. If Washington gets eliminated tonight, hypothetically, if Boston gets eliminated in round 2, I don't care who wins the Stanley Cup. Any of the following teams after Boston and Washington, go for it. Win the Stanley Cup, and this is going to be a great year of hockey for me. So.
Yeah, I feel that too.
Awesome.
I'd be excited if it was the Islanders or the Jackets or the Sharks or the Stars or the Blues or the I can say Rockies or the Avalanche.
Rockies.
I'd be happy with any of them. Not so much Boston or Washington.
Nice.
And Carolina. Yeah.
I'm glad that we are in agreement.
I think we are.
All right. Thank you very much for joining me for this video. It was a long one. It
was a lot of fun.
If you're still here listening and watching, I appreciate that.
It's a long video. It was a long game, a long series.
Yeah.
It deserves a long video.
That's right. Yeah, and if you are still watching at this point and you're not subscribed, probably means you like our content, so I hope you can go down and hit the subscribe button and join us here for future videos. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you're having a good day, and we will see you in the next video. Adios.